what are your thoughts on the economic trajectory for Japan in 2025? And a second part to the question is, what kind of opportunities in terms of investing or trading comes to mind when you think about investing in the Japan market?
You're seeing the Bank of Japan trying to shift their policy for the past year, 2 years, because they feel like Japan's economy is at a turning point. Look at the outlook for trade policy now. If someone wants to put tariffs on you, for instance, let's say someone wants to put some sort of trade policy, trade action against Japan, right? It's much easier to target something like the end product, like seasoning from this company, this brand, this class of thing.
Interesting.
Rather than a small component in that sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it does happen, but it's less likely. Why? Because it's politically more palatable in terms of, we are telling people, I'm gonna do something about shipments of this, the end product, rather than a component. So I think a lot of these Japanese companies, they do know that. They've been branching into these things for decades, at least past 2 decades, a lot of heavy investment in it. They've cemented themselves in these supply chains, and there's a lot of these value stories, if I were to use that term, within Japanese stocks.
Is there anything else you want to add that could potentially impact the trade relations between Japan and the US?
One perspective you can take is that no matter what one party does in terms of implementing trade policies, people won't really take it lying down. I'm not talking about retaliation outright, but I'm talking about, end of the day, it's a team game. And what I mean by that is, let's say one side imposes penalties on another. They're not going to just sit there and take it. They're going to look for how to fix it. And I think what you can see from the current administration in Tokyo now is that they're trying to make friends, or better friends, with the leadership in Beijing.
Yeah.
Right? And that has been quite obvious. I mean, they're not doing it so outright that it would provoke a reaction from their other allies, but they're not closing the door there. That's one perspective of looking at it. And I think that shows, to me at least, that shows the kind of thinking they're taking towards, say, a more uncertain environment, which is, let's open more doors. You see them coming down to this part of the world more as well, in terms of investment, in terms of thinking about shifting supply chains here, in terms of securing more raw materials for their factories. Certainly, I think they're going to be pretty resilient to it. And why I would focus on this angle of analysis, if you were to call it that, is because it's very hard to predict what the US will do in terms of where they're going to take trade policy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make a call now, but if it doesn't come true, then how would that play out? But what you can be sure is that the calculus is the same for whoever's running whichever economy. If there's uncertainty here, you're not going to fixate on that and come up with, say, 100 scenarios. If he does that, then we opt for that. Sure, but you're also going to look at alternate scenarios, deepen your trade relations with other countries, especially.
For our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, follow us so you can continue to get more insights from the various guests who are going to be joining us in the Japan Market podcast series. So please give us a follow and don't miss our upcoming insights on the Japan market. When it comes to trading at Japan market, Philip Nova is your ideal trading partner. Through the Philip Capital Group, we have clearing memberships for CME Group, SGX, and JPX to give you access to all 3 Nikkei 225 indices from these 3 exchanges.